Alvarez. This is Carla.
Yes, hello there. I had called in a couple of days ago reporting some issues. I talked to Sergeant Frazier. He emailed me back saying that my allegations were unfounded, but he didn't wait to receive my piece of evidence, which is a audio clip that actually substantiates the entire thing. And I feel as though he went ahead and literally closed the case that he's not supposed to. So I need to go above him now.
Okay, hold on just a moment.
Thanks. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I just called a second ago. I might have gotten disconnected.
Yes, hold on just a moment.
Sure, thanks.
Lieutenant Bridges.
Yes, hello there. I'm always bad with names the very first time around. I didn't catch that exactly. Could you repeat yourself?
Lieutenant Rick Bridges.
Rick Richardson, awesome. Thank you, yes. My name is William Montgomery, and I have a brother named David Montgomery, and we have a very interesting issue here that we have attempted to report from the bottom up, and we feel as though our complaint is not being taken for other reasons. So I'm getting ahead of myself already. Can I just ask a real quick question? Security guards that are not sworn officers, they don't have powers to detain short of probable cause. Is that correct? Like, they don't get to employ reasonable suspicion in their jobs.
It depends where you're at.
Yeah. This is not fully private property, like if you're a student or something, but like a shopkeep owner, like a King Soopers or a library, a security guard there. They don't have the power to detain you for, say, statutable violations versus like policy violations, and then they don't have the power to like run your name or anything.
They probably can't run your name because they don't have that. But can they detain you? It depends on the incident and what's going on, and again, it depends where you're at.
Yeah. Okay.
If
So
you're on private property, let's say for an example, if you're on somebody's private property and they have a security guard there, yes, they can detain you and then find out and call the police. They can't arrest you. They could give the citizens arrest.
yeah, that's actually what I was trying to clarify was so detaining here would be only for something that is where they actually witness it, like a shoplifting. So it's the equivalent to a citizen's arrest.
Sure. It depends what exactly you're doing.
Yeah, this would be nothing actually of a fitting of a.
If it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
So, okay.
This is good. We're agreeing here. This is the type of reasonable suspicion that is for statutable offenses that are like theft or something, and they're just seizing somebody temporarily, detaining them to further question them, kind of like how a cop does, and then basically requiring their IDs and then letting them go. Basically, doing the exact same thing as a cop.
Yes, sure.
And so, but you're not actually required to give your ID to them.
It depends again.
Or
where you're at and what you're doing. Again, if you're on private property, that's on you. They can detain you and call the police to come do that.
Yeah. So in that case, that's
or
like
or you can ask for a police officer. But yes, if you're on private property, and it's within their jurisdiction, they don't have arrest powers per se, but they can ask you reasonable suspicions. Basically, just asking you what you're doing, who you are, and what you're doing.
Okay, perfect. So this is the point at which we've learned how to call my brother and I. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you don't agree, you can call. If you call the police too, they're not going to side with you. They'll look at the totality of the circumstances and see what you were doing. Again, what is it that you were doing? If I had a few more specifics.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So real quick before going any further, to make sure we're always talking on the same page here. We'll call them the 3 levels of encounters that I've seen for cops. There's the consensual. It's a stop and ask, but you're not really actually stopping them. It's just kind of you're hoping to get some answers out of them, and it's purely consensual. Correct me if I'm wrong. Level 1. And then from there, if you actually do have reasonable suspicion, assuming we're just talking about cops right now, it would be something along the lines of a level 2 encounter where if they didn't stop, you would have to physically seize them, but not for an arrest, but just to question them, maybe run their ID. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, level 3 is where they graduate that reasonable suspicion to probable cause. Doesn't matter if a physical seizure happened or not, but in this case, you're ready to go ahead and start charging them, taking them to jail, and so forth. Are those the type of 3-level encounters of usual cop encounters?
Somewhat, yeah. Again,
and then,
it's up to, again, it depends where this occurs.
Yeah. Okay.
You have different levels of security guards. You have armed, merchant guards. You have unarmed, and they have a few more powers. It depends what you're on. For instance, if you're at a venue that is a private property venue, then they can do that.
Oh, yeah, because you sort of relinquished your rights to be there. I mean, it's all by permission.
Their property, so if you're in their store, you could be trespassing. You're subject to their rules.
Yeah, but trespassing there, say, for like a shopkeep owner for like, say, King Soopers or something. Not that
that's
not. That's the public side. Yeah, we're talking still private property. Say like an open house. It's purely
somebody's house. I'm talking about like a convention center. Something like that. That's private downtown convention center. They have security guards.
Gotcha.
Okay?
And those aren't normally open to the public because they're private.
Right. It's private property.
Okay. In this case, then, one more variable is the public property nature of it. So I'm only really talking about places like King Soopers or like malls or like libraries or something.
Right. That's public property. That's not private property. It is private. They can trespass you from that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But then you have to have like a formal warning. You have to do something like they tell you not to and you do it again.
Not to come into King Soopers anymore, and you can come in, and they can detain you and call the police, and you can be arrested or served a ticket for trespassing.
Okay, perfect. So in that case, sticking to the King Soopers one, it sounds to me like King Soopers is security guards would enjoy level 1 encounters like anybody, but they can only go to a level 3 to go ahead and start arresting for shoplifting.
I don't. Your level 1, level 2, level 3 stuff is. I get it, and it's in the book somewhere that you're probably reading.
Or here's a better.
Why don't you tell me what happened? Let's start with that, and then maybe I can help you there.
Sure. Well, actually, the reason why I haven't gotten to the actual gist of it yet is because the problems leading up to this point allowed for communication not really work out. And so maybe the level 2 that I'm trying to explain to kind of go off of is Walmart, they have receipt checkers, and if you don't show your receipt when they ask, if you just keep walking, we've asked them if they're allowed to stop them, and they say no, because it's not an actual crime yet. They discovered, like shoplifting, to go ahead and arrest them or hold them, citizens arrest until the cops get there. They are not. They can't actually go and detain them to discern if they have a receipt or not. They're allowed to just keep walking. And so that's the where what we've understood is that security guards don't necessarily get to do a level 2 encounter where they hold you and then just temporarily and then let you go once they confirm or deny their suspicions. We always thought that at level 3 is the only ones that security guards, private property owners, anybody that's not a cop basically has that right to go do a citizen's arrest, but it's only after they've witnessed the crime, not just some sort of like technically. Let me put in one little caveat here. As far as I know, some sort of potential shopkeeper's owner's privilege to hold them just for shoplifting to see if they have the item or paid for, stuff like that, but they would have to let them go immediately thereafter. But it's always got to be shoplifting.
Or reasonable suspicion to stop you and contact you and ask you what you're doing.
Yeah, okay. So,
you don't have to commit a crime.
Yeah, exactly. So
stop you and ask you whether you're committing a crime, they think you're committing a crime, about to commit, or whatever.
Yeah,
they
so
stop and talk to you.
Now, the stop and talk to you is just a consensual level 1. You don't actually have to consent to authority.
If you want to walk away, that's on you. If you choose not to walk away, that's on you.
Okay.
I mean, but you can get in trouble for that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you can be trespassed from it if they don't like you, if they, but they can't actually hold you like a cop does for that type of encounter.
When you say hold you like a cop does, what do you mean?
Basically,
what does a cop do?
Physically seize you if you don't consent to their authority.
Then you're under arrest.
Well, okay. But you guys do physical seizures with reasonable suspicion if.
No. See,
or
then
detain.
You're under arrest. A cop, we can detain you for reasonable suspicion to find out what you're doing, who you are, if we have reason to believe that a crime has been committed, is about to be committed, or such.
Yeah. So, but that is okay. So, we're on the same page. We're very, very close, and this is why I'm trying to get down.
What are you trying to get me to agree to, Mr. Montgomery? I guess if you tell me your situation, maybe I can help you.
Yeah, not agree. But so we can speak the same language.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, from what we understand, a level 2 and a level 3 are where you.
Don't talk level 2 and level 3 with me.
Okay.
It's.
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, reasonable suspicion, being level 2, probable cause being level 3. Both reasonable suspicion and probable cause do require you
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, to be detained for reasonable suspicion is the same as being arrested for probable cause. Both are seizures.
No. Probable cause is different. No.
Well, no. What I mean is the wording is that detain is something that's temporary. That's usually referred to for reasonable suspicion.
It can be 10 to 15 minutes, and they want to find out if something occurred. Let's say they get a call, and there's a broken window somewhere, and they stop a person in the area, okay, that they think might have done this. They can stop, detain them, talk to them, and identify them. Okay, that's not an arrest.
Exactly. They have to stop, or they'll be charged with, not obstruction, but if they keep walking, you'd have to physically seize them if you wanted to stop them.
I mean, you're getting a little technical, but most people, if they haven't done anything wrong, will stop. Here's my name. Here's my thing. I didn't do anything wrong. The officer will take his information, and if they can't prove anything, here, sir, here's your ID. You're free to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, if it comes back later and the detective looks in the case and he finds out some information, he has some names to look to and talk to.
Exactly. So actually, the easiest way to say it now.
If there's nothing, again, most people would say, okay, I'm being detained. I certainly understand why. Here's my name. Here's my information.
Exactly.
And they can't find anything. They say, sure, you're free to go.
Yep.
And most people say, okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically the person, maybe without being physically seized, asks if they're being detained, and that way they know if it's not just a consensual encounter anymore. Is that is the kind of gist it feels like? Is that either you're physically detained or you say, am I being detained, and they say yes, and then like you said, if they say am I free to go, then they say free to go.
My suspicion would rise if somebody kept trying to get away. If they kept saying I'm going, you can't detain me, I'm going, my suspicion would rise.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So,
and that would give you the right to
again,
physically
if you haven't
detain
done anything
them.
wrong, being detained and asked a few questions for a short period of time shouldn't face a person, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm not arguing about the cop side. Cops do level, or in consensual cops do.
Again, we're all over the place. Do you have a specific incident that occurred?
Well, okay. So the question of questions is, now that we've kind of narrowed things down real quick, that whole temporarily detaining to ask questions, maybe run an ID, and then let him go if you don't have enough to charge him. That's not something that security guards do for statutable
Sure they can.
offenses.
Sure they can. It depends. Again, if you're on private property.
Public. We're only talking public, like a library at this point. And so a
talking
library,
public,
can a
like-
security guard run your name if he wants at a library?
At a library.
Yeah. And you're just in a public library, open during public hours. It doesn't matter if you're a student or not. But basically, if he sees you and maybe you fit the description of a crime in the area, but he's not a cop, can he go ahead and seize you, detain you, ask you questions, get your ID?
He may detain you and ask who you are.
Okay,
And
but you don't
if
have to be
if
detained.
If you don't stop, then he can call the police.
Exactly. Okay, so
Stop.
he doesn't actually have the right to seize me himself. He has to go call the police to get some sort of like trespassing, things like that.
Seize you how?
Or detain. That's the word. I always mean detain.
Oh, he can. He can ask you. Sure, he can.
And if he asks me, then it turns it into a consensual. I'm saying if I, like you said, if I just keep walking, he can't actually like physically decide to go and cuff me temporarily.
Again, it depends on the situation and the nature.
Yeah, I'm saying if I haven't committed a crime yet, and he's just simply.
Well, how does he know that?
If he goes ahead and later admits that he just did it for investigative purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, it depends where we're at. You keep saying a library.
Okay. So obviously all the secrets are out. Here's all the variables. Here's all the elements.
All right, help me out.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Help me out.
Okay.
Well, I get all this, but again, it all depends.
Yeah. Oh, it does absolutely, and that's why we're trying to get to this. Okay. So my brother and I, we're the elements there, people. We're in Anderson Academic Commons as the location. It's
What is that? Wait.
Oh, Anderson Academic Commons, just the library down there on University.
University of what?
Evans, over there. It's DU, Denver University.
Aha.
Yeah.
You just said the magic word to me. Are you on DU's property?
So we were on DU's property, but we were in the library.
property.
The library being open to the
all right.
public,
No,
like you said earlier.
No. It
Oh, okay.
belongs to DU. And there's what we call, they're not security guards. They're campus safety.
Okay.
That's different. See? And that's why I say you just went around. If you'd have told me that up front, I could have said,
Well, campus safety officers, they don't have badge numbers though, right? They're not.
yes,
They're not.
they do. And matter of fact, they do have badge numbers. They carry guns.
Okay. So
They don't have arrest powers. Can they detain you? Yes.
Okay. So
They're on their property.
by badge numbers, I mean they're not sworn in police officers.
They are campus safety. They
Yeah.
have some levels of police powers.
Okay, and that'd be something like a reason.
It's not like no security guard at King Supers that we talked about. That's different.
Okay, so what's the difference between a King Super security guard and a campus security guard?
It could be the level. First of all, campus security, some of them carry guns. They have investigative powers. They have detectives. They have their own thing.
I'm just saying, writing a statutable offense, a mall security guard. I mean, a King Super security guard can't write a ticket.
They wouldn't have,
They can't write a ticket for assault.
They wouldn't have any training.
Yeah, but they don't have a ticket book to write a ticket for assault.
Campus safety can write tickets. Okay.
I'm talking criminal statute offenses, like.
No, not criminal, but they can write tickets.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to narrow down. Is that they can't do
So,
criminal
but if you're
things.
If you're doing something on campus, okay,
Okay.
and they can stop and talk to you.
Now, by stop, it's consensual. I can keep walking if I like.
Well, if you like, then they can call the police, or they.
Okay, that is exactly my contention. I was physically stopped and detained by security guards at the Anderson Academic Commons 2 nights
on
ago.
DU's property.
It was in the library as it was closing. We were leaving,
Okay,
and
what were you doing to be stopped?
we were at the doors. We had bins with us with stuff in it. So obviously there's going to be some questions there. Maybe a consensual encounter. What are you doing? We felt as though with our experience with CSU police, or just any police that, if we don't consent to the encounter, we don't know if it's level 2 yet. We don't know if we have to stop. And so we kept walking.
Stop with the level 2 stuff, Mr. Montgomery.
Well, reasonable suspicion.
What were you doing?
We basically had bins. We were leaving.
What time of day was this?
2 o'clock a.m. right when the library. 2 o'clock a.m. right when the library closed.
Reasonable suspicion. Right now, I'm going to tell you. I'm a police officer.
Okay.
Reasonable suspicion. You guys are carrying bins out of a library.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's closed.
Yeah, and it just closed. Keep in mind that just closed. So we're being told to exit the property, and
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So it's not trespassing. It's not suspicion, of anything except for maybe burglary or maybe theft.
Okay.
Which is perfectly understandable. Absolutely.
So now you've talked enough. Let me talk for a bit.
Actually, this is the really important thing. I have to stick this out there. Oh my gosh, I have to get this out because if I don't get this out, we're not going to have the right conversation. Here's the point: is that when I didn't stop initially, we kept walking, and then I asked if he's a cop.
Why didn't you stop?
Why didn't
you stop?
Because it wasn't I didn't know if I was required to yet. I'm allowed to keep walking until they tell me I have to stop. And you just told me that. Sorry.
Okay, get it out.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is that we know we don't have to stop until someone physically seizes us, and we know that's not a charge of anything.
That's not true.
Well, no. If it's not headlong flight, if it's simply regularly walking, that's not suspicious by itself. That doesn't create suspicion by not obeying commands. That's actually case law. It's only if it's headlong flight. If it's, do you get your reasonable suspicion? But here's the point. The point is that when we kept walking, we didn't know if he was a security guard or a cop. We know from experience that CSU PD and Fort Collins are sworn-in officers. Once we kept walking, we decided to go ahead and ask him if he was a cop. He said yes, and that's when we decided to stop. And we consented to his authority as a police officer, and we went through the entire spiel and gave up our names as if he was a cop. Because, like I said, I would have just kept walking because I know I don't need to give up my IDs to cop or to non-cops. And then once he all cleared it, we kept the entire time we were trying to get through to the questions to figure out what was going on. And we finally got it after we were already let go. And he said that they have reasonable suspicion to detain, to run IDs. We were held while we were waiting for IDs to clear. And then when it was all over, we explained to him, look, this is a false imprisonment because you don't have the power to just write or run names just for suspecting of crimes and then simply let them go when they're done. It's either, a consensual or it's a citizen's arrest. And so we were totally, completely falsely imprisoned by somebody who, at the time, we were under the impression was a police officer because he told us. So that's an impersonation charge. We literally would not have given up our name, and we would have kept walking. But the way he said things, he literally said, we asked, are you a cop? He said, yes, I am. And then he kept saying official and authority and officer. And this led us to believe that it was a CSU PD like anybody else. And then once we finally drilled down and we asked for his badge number.
What's the difference? You keep saying CSU PD, which is a campus security officer.
Nope, they are sworn-in police officers, full on. They don't even they can police the entire Fort Collins, not even CSU.
Here's the thing you should try. Why don't you call DU and call their security office and see if they're sworn-in police officers?
I asked them. That's the whole thing. I asked him after the encounter. We literally went through the entire thing with him live, and he said he wasn't. And that's when we actually, right then and there, called out DU police because we needed to file the false imprisonment charge, and they literally didn't take that night. That's why we called in back next day to Internal Affairs.
What did they say?
We couldn't get to the bottom of the conversation. We kept explaining to them that they think they have reasonable suspicion. The cop actually ratified security guards having regular reasonable suspicion. They think it was a level 1, just a consensual encounter. What we're trying to say is that it's a actual required encounter, and it was only that way because we thought he was a cop initially, and I could only get out fast enough that we thought he was a cop, and I never actually got to this police officer that he said he was a cop. And so basically this police officer literally sided with them, and we had got a trespassing order after we were already let go and cleared. It was a very strange situation. The cop never got through. We never got through to the cop that they said they were a cop. And that's why we're reporting to you now, is because I went to Internal Affairs and tried to report this too. He closed the case before even hearing my audio. That's what I'm scared about. Is this audio is terrifyingly accurate for what happened, where we're trying to define what you just already did, where you don't have to stop for security guard, and we thought we had to because we thought he was a cop.
Stop for a security guard. again, I told you where you're at and what you're doing. And what I did tell you was, if you're doing nothing wrong, why wouldn't you stop? I told you that, too. But you didn't.
Because we don't consent to encounters unless we have to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, no. The whole point is,
But
I changed my mind and I decided to stop anyways because of that exact thing.
What occurred? So you got a ticket somehow. How did you get a ticket?
That's exactly my point. I didn't get a ticket. They ran my names. They cleared everything. Once they cleared everything.
Did it get contentious?
No, it got contentious literally because we called the police right then and there, and they did not like that we were trying to press false imprisonment charges right in front of them, and it got contentious because the cop would not let us get our full story out, and they literally trespassed us before we could get our witness statement out. And we attempted to report this to her. She would not let us get a witness statement out, and that's why we had to call Internal Affairs because it's dying before it even gets started.
So do you have a court date, sir?
No. I never got a trespassing charge. I just got a trespassing order. Banned for all of DU, and I never got any prior warnings of anything, so I just simply got banned because they don't like me.
Stop.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you get a ticket, arrested, or a citation?
No.
To go to court?
No.
Okay. So you don't have a you got no ticket, so you have not been harmed. Am I correct?
Not by the police in any way, no.
All right. Exactly.
Yes.
So you did not. You received an order from the security guards. They're telling you to stay off the property?
No, actually.
Is DU telling you to stay off the property now? Don't come back?
They
can do that.
Yeah, of course. You can give a protection order. You can give a trespassing order for any reason, shape, or form after the fact.
Right. Well, if they don't want you to come back, they can ask you. But the officer that responded didn't cite you?
Yeah, no, she didn't cite me because I wasn't trespassing, because we were still in the conversation of just being let go from their detainment and before we left the property.
So I guess I'm totally confused. You want the Denver police officers to believe you and listen to what you're saying.
Not believe me. I was trying to explain, and I couldn't get the audio to them, and they don't need to believe me. But the whole point is that a security guard posed as a police officer and told us that we needed to give his our IDs to him. That's what I'm trying to report.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. What I'm saying. You're saying posed as a police officer.
Yes, he said he was a cop.
Wait. Hey, he is the cops on DU. Okay.
No, he's not. He's not a sworn officer though.
He's not. You can say level. What level of police officer?
He's not a sworn level. He's not a sworn police officer at all.
You're calling him a security. He's campus safety.
Exactly. Okay? Yeah, campus safety official, whatever.
What is he responsible for?
Policy violations and holding people for statutable.
He sees somebody on campus. You're saying he can't stop somebody on a place where he's working?
He doesn't have the. He enjoys only the same privilege as a business owner to do the level 1 type stop of just consensual. But they can't physically hold you like you said.
In the library, he finds at 3:00 in the morning somebody's in there trespassing. Yeah, you can call the police.
Yeah, that's already a statutable offense, which already is a probable cause for an arrest. I'm saying they stopped us with not a charge. They stopped us. The security guards stopped us, and were running our names, checking for warrants as if they were.
How are they? Wait. First of all, if they're all that, they can't do that.
Yes, exactly. They ran names. That's what we're trying to say. They ran names all by themselves.
Wait. See, you're getting confused. They ran. If you're saying they're not that level of police officer, they can't run names.
Exactly.
No. Not that they can't. They have no capabilities to.
Yes, they called it into DU. When they call our name, when they ran our names, they ran them into DU's. Denver police.
They can do that. Okay.
Yes, they can ran but the whole point is if you consent to the authority.
They work with the Denver police. They can.
But I didn't consent to giving my ID up, and they ran it as if I consented to a cop. That's the only reason why they ran it.
Okay.
That's why I'm really, really, really scared here, because the conversation I had with him, he's running.
Seriously, what are you scared about?
I'm scared because the way that the security guards were explaining their idea.
Call his boss and make a complaint on him.
No. I'm concerned because they say they have reasonable suspicion, and they keep doing this thing about going around and seizing people and running people's names all the time without badge numbers. Without they're not.
What was the officer's name? And who did you talk to over at DU?
The 3 security guards' names we never got, but the 2 police officers are Watkins and Ariana.
I want the security guards' names. You didn't get them?
Didn't even get them.
And who did you talk to at DU?
The dean. I just left him talk to someone.
No, see, here's the problem.
Okay.
You call campus security. They have a whole police department there.
No, they don't actually. That's the whole thing. DU called in Denver police. DU security guards called in Denver police.
Right. Did you call campus security? They have an office. They have a captain. They have sergeants. They have a detectives. They run that campus. Do we help them? Yes, we do.
Oh, sure,
They
absolutely.
do criminal stuff. Yes, but they have a department. Who did you talk to? What was he dressed like when he stopped you? Was he in blue pants and a light blue shirt?
Yeah, the 3 security guards, basically, we never got their names. We asked for a badge number, and he went straight to stop private property, so we didn't even have a chance to get that. And by the time the seizure was over, we asked him if he was a...
What are you hoping to accomplish here?
I'm trying to file false imprisonment charges and impersonation charges, and I have the evidence on the audio, and so far you're the 3rd person to deny this because of all the other convolution.
What evidence on the audio do you have?
I have the entire encounter of both the first part, which is security guards making us believe that they're cops, CSU PD.
I don't think they're... First thing, I don't...
I was very careful to specifically ask him all sorts of questions.
It rises to the level of impersonation. You're never going to get that.
Okay, he said he was a cop.
They're in uniform. They're in uniform. Okay, and your interpretation, whether he's a cop or a security guard, they're in uniform on private property doing their thing, and you want to say they're impersonating.
No. It's very, very big difference here. He doesn't know he's impersonating. He doesn't know that the word cop is used by only police officers, and other words that he used in conjunction with them, like office or official and so forth.
Okay.
He never...
What would you like to do?
Okay, I literally asked him if he was a cop so that I would know to stop or not. He said, yes, I am. And the entire encounter after that, we repeatedly used the words cop and police officer and detaining and everything like that, and he never clarified, and he literally ran our names.
If you assume he's a cop...
I didn't assume. I asked, and he clarified.
Okay.
Yes. It's very scary. He doesn't know that security guards are not supposed to be saying that. And under normal circumstances, I might have been able to... okay, if it was like a mall, it would be very easy.
We need to first determine, and let me... I'll hook you up with this. We need to first determine... You keep calling them security guards. Okay, they're not security guards.
But they're not sworn police officers. That's my determination.
But they're not security guards either.
They're private property citizens. It doesn't matter. All I'm talking about is, are they cops or not?
Campus safety. You need to find out what...
They can't write statutable offenses.
What powers they do have.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm just concerned about they're not police officers.
They have powers to stop and identify people. Okay, and detain people.
Being consensual, level 1. They're just you're allowed to request people. Like you said though already, that if they don't stop, they can keep walking.
The first thing I would need to know is what level of powers does campus safety have? Okay, you say they're not like CSU who are sworn police officers. All right, that's fine. But I know they have a different level. I know they can't.
You can. Okay, so I know from other case law.
But they're not security guards, and you keep saying they're security guards. They can't do that. It's not King Soopers like you were trying to talk to me.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
It's nowhere near that.
Okay, the difference being King Soopers is obviously a public arena that public can be going to.
Right.
Campus officials are, yes, they do employ things called reasonable suspicion, but it's for private property only with people that have already consented to being there as students. I was in a library. It's not private. A library is the same as King Soopers, is it not?
No, it's on DU's property. Any property over there belongs to DU.
Do I need permission to enter the property first?
Sports Arena Ritchie Center, okay?
Do I need permission to enter the property first, like CSU or like King Soopers?
Do you need it? No, but they can kick you off anytime they want.
Exactly, and I didn't have any permission, nor did I. I didn't request any permission to go onto the library because it was already public. Once I was already there, they felt as though they needed to seize me to ID me.
My lunch is killing me. What can I do for you, sir?
Okay. There are the elements of impersonation and the elements of false imprisonment that if you actually listened to this audio, you could go and extrapolate it. But I'm at the point, since you guys didn't take this audio before, I really want to see if you guys can actually go and do a real investigation and just go simply ask that official, campus official, whatever you want to call him, just simply ask him if he said he was a cop that night. Because he's going to say no. And now we have perjury because I have proof that he said yes. And of course they're going to try and get out of it.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Sure.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
I have no power over this guy. You're calling the wrong people. Okay? No. I have no power over this DU.
He committed a crime in your jurisdiction.
No. I am internal affairs. Okay.
I would have reported it to Denver police. They didn't take it. That's why I'm going up the chain. It's within the jurisdiction of Denver police.
The only thing I could have is the Denver police officers that respond.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sorry. I went up the chain because I got sent up the chain.
And all this stuff you want on this guy.
Oh, I don't want. I literally don't want. I'm not facetious or malicious or anything. I'm literally.
Yeah, I said I was a cop. What do you want?
I'm sorry. What was that?
And what if the guy says, "Yeah, I told him I was a cop"? What do you? Again.
We would not have given up our IDs if we knew he was only a campus official. I had my name ran. That's so illegal. We were held while we were waiting for our names to clear, and I would have just walked off the property.
And again, okay.
And so he's not supposed to be going around, even if he's knows he's not a cop. He's not supposed to be going around fooling people. He's a cop.
Why don't you talk to his boss? Again, why don't you talk to his boss?
Because I was already falsely in prison, and I'm just trying to press charges so that I can have them actually learn the lesson the real way, like every other person needs to. They already committed the offense, and the whole point is that they're continuing to go around seizing people with reasonable suspicion, running names, and
how do you know this?
Because the cop the police officer that showed up kept talking about how she has the right to do actual detentions, and she literally confirmed that they do too. She didn't disagree with them. She literally said that they do too.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Can I tell you something? And listen, this police officer might be telling you right. I don't work out there, so I don't know what you meet their policies and what they can do.
Actually, you already told me. You already told me that if a security guard tries to stop you, you don't have to.
No. I told you I don't know what their powers are. Okay? You said, no, they're not CSU police. They're certified police officers. They might have another level. I have steadfast told you that.
Yeah,
the officers that work out there, that work with these security, as you call them, campus police, they know more about what they can do than what they can.
But they can't write a ticket for, they can't write a statutable state offense ticket.
They would call a police officer to do that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say, is they acted as...
But that doesn't mean they can't detain you.
Now, the detaining is if they have something like a charge.
That doesn't mean they can... Let me give you an example, maybe you'll understand.
Okay.
You know what a Denver sheriff is?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. You know what's a Denver sheriff?
Well, he's a sworn-in county sheriff officer, deputy.
With no arrest powers.
If he's a deputy, I thought he always had arrest powers, but I guess maybe you're just talking...
County of Denver, okay? Now you're getting me here. They cannot arrest anybody. Okay? No, they can't. No, they can't. Now, I'm putting you on my field.
A sheriff?
A Denver sheriff cannot arrest anybody. They don't have arrest powers. They carry guns. They work in the jails. Okay?
Oh, yeah, those guys. Yeah, those guys. I'm talking about the one that's on the streets.
Not the Arapahoe County Sheriff, because it's not a city in the county. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, you got a little bit different. I've always wondered about county and city for Denver. So you guys, since you're your own county, your city police are just your city police.
Sheriffs are in full uniform, carry guns, look just like a police officer.
But
they can't make an arrest.
Ah, that's different than everywhere else. Very interesting.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you. I don't know what DU's policies are and their campus safety. But the person or the officers that came and responded, who work with them on a regular basis, probably know better. And that's, you keep saying you can't be detained. Let me say, I've worked at the Ritchie Center over at DU, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We work graduations. We work with campus safety. Campus safety has the right to detain people on their property and facilities. They've done it.
For less than probable cause. For just simply...
Wait. Here, let me give you an example.
Okay.
We're at a hockey game, okay?
Okay.
Got a drunk person causing a disturbance, but there's no cops around.
No, that's private. You have to be invited to the game, right?
Wait. No. The library's the same thing. Any building on that facility, dorm, library, law library, church, any facility on their property is the same. It is private property. It's not like... Period.
It's not like King Soopers.
You can walk in there, and you don't have to be asked.
And it's not like King Soopers.
It's not like King Soopers. King Soopers is private property too, though.
Well,
They can ask you to leave anytime they want.
Yeah,
you can
so
walk in there anytime you want.
So what's the difference between King Soopers and the library?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
There's not really a difference.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's literally what I'm trying to say. Is that I got detained by a security guard on the way out of not showing my receipt, and they detained me as if they were a cop.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say.
But you just told me I could leave and I could keep walking if I don't stop. If I don't stop, they can't stop me. They can only call the police. I stopped because I thought he was a cop. I wouldn't have stopped if he wasn't a cop.
You didn't listen to one thing I said. King Soopers security guards are not campus safety.
Their official term is simply not police officers. That's all I care about.
No, see, and that's where you're getting confused. I just explained to you a sheriff's instrument. What level of powers does campus safety have?
Hey, let's put it this way. Your county sheriff, has the same power as a merchant, has the same power as a security guard, has the same power as a citizen to do a citizen's arrest and hold people there until cops get there for charges they've already witnessed.
All right, Mr. Montgomery.
I didn't have a charge witnessed against me, and I was held to do an investigation like a cop does over a statutable offense, and they let me go once they dispelled that I wasn't stealing anything. But I got stopped as if I thought it was a cop, because I know if it was a security guard...
What is the harm here? Okay.
If you, I had my name unlawfully run.
I've asked you 3 times now. What would you like to do here?
Okay, so I had my name unlawfully ran, and I have been retaliated against, and I'm not allowed to show up to this library, and it's a false document for recording out there, and it was a impersonation of a police officer.
What did the all this other stuff you're talking? It's like backroom law stuff.
Yeah, that's civil stuff. Exactly, that's civil stuff.
My problem is, what did the Denver police do wrong?
They did not let me get my full story out so that I could explain that not only did I just simply think that they were police officers, these officials, they told me they were, and the conversation never got to that point, and it got shut down because they were basically defaming me, that I should just simply know better, that it's security guards, you can't just be voluntarily giving up IDs, things like that. No, I told them, I tried to get to this security, I tried to report it.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you just told me what I needed to know. All this other stuff you're telling me doesn't mean...
Yeah, no, that's all civil stuff. I just want false imprisonment and
No. I just got what I needed. Okay?
Okay.
I asked you what the Denver police officers did. They did not listen to your full story.
Yep, they failed to report. Exactly. That's what I just tried to report.
So when you start talking this false imprisonment and all, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, that's an investigation that is naturally, if it fizzles out, I don't care. I just want you guys to hear my audio and go over the statute to see if it fits. And I've been told that that you guys don't even need that audio, and that's terrifying.
Okay, all right. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna have.
Yeah, just an investigation. I'm just trying to get a witness statement out for what I believe to be 2 potential charges.
Potential? No, we don't do charges.
I
just explained to you.
You can charge somebody like somebody that.
No, I can't. I'm not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Denver police, however up or down, whatever in the county, the district attorney's office can charge these people if they fit the elements and they fit probable cause for impersonation and false imprisonment.
Here's the deal, okay?
Okay.
We got everything you know. We'll take your complaint, but here's your complaint, okay? This false imprisonment and this perjury and all this stuff has nothing to do. What you're upset about is the Denver police officer did not listen to you, your full story, when he responded on scene.
And now we don't know if a false imprisonment and a impersonation ever really did take place or not. So my original complaint is that I still don't know if those are charges or not. I think they are. So it's not my complaint about failure to report. I'm trying to get the actual report to be reported still. I don't care about failure to report. If you guys pick it up later, I don't care.
Well, I don't. Where we're at here, we don't. I'll tell you what. We'll look into what the
Oh my gosh. I got it. Okay, I'm so sorry. I figured out what you guys are. Yes, I only reported.
Wait, what did you figure out?
Yes.
I'm lost. I don't mind telling you.
No, this is good. No. I only went straight up the chains, straight to internal affairs, because I've done this before with other institutions, and it's already over.
You do this for a hobby or what?
I have been.
What are you looking to do here? I'm serious,
Well,
because this is abnormal.
Okay,
I don't know what I'm telling you.
I'm getting ahead of myself real quick. What we were just saying was, what was it? It was about, damn it. Man, I got to get back to this thought because we can't go over this.
Okay, all right.
Okay, where I realized it, the realization is that I can only report to you other police officers' shortcomings, like failure to report.
Internal affairs.
Yeah, exactly.
I deal with cops that did stuff wrong. Okay?
Exactly.
I'm not looking to go arrest somebody for assault.
Yes, thank you.
That, okay?
Yes, I'm just trying to get my original report back in so you guys can push it back down the chains.
Right. What you're telling me is the cops that responded to your scene didn't listen to your full story, and that's the complaint I'm taking.
Yep, and then level 2.
Listen to all the stuff you've told me.
And then real quick, level 2, I already reported this to Sergeant Frazier, in internal affairs, and he literally did the exact same thing, failure to report, and that's why I had to come to you. He told me there's nothing. He didn't even want the audio. He didn't want my witness statement for the same reasons that they didn't that night. They felt as though there weren't any allegations.
Is there a way you can email them to me? Or can you take them down? You know what?
I have to put it. I mean, I have a lot of other stuff I've been trying to put up on YouTube, anyways. We have literally 30 false imprisonments. So
right.
no,
I see what your motives are.
No. My motives are literally to get help financially for my previous problems, and I've been on literally for the last.
What previous problems have you had?
Oh my gosh, I would love to go over this with you in 10 seconds.
No, never mind.
No, I basically, it's really easy. I've been trying to get this out for people forever. My brother and I came from a Mormon family. I got wrongfully convicted of a kleptomania type crime. My brother got wrongfully diagnosed with bipolar. We learned our lessons, or I did. He got misdiagnosed, but basically we've been trying to get away from our Mormon family ever since for about 10 years. We ended up losing our jobs and places all at the same time just from having crappy jobs and places. And so 2 years ago, we're in Fort Collins, it's our hometown, and we basically keep getting picked up by illegal sleeping tickets until we eventually started doing homework and find out that they're not even using maps or elements or anything like that. And so basically we challenged 30 plus tickets or other types of encounters, and have won almost every single one of them. The only times we didn't win is when the jury got duped and lied to, and now we have good appeals going. So yeah, I'm tired of being falsely imprisoned by people who claim they have reasonable suspicion or probable cause, and so forth and so on. And basically, in the end, I don't care about the money. Like 42 USCs, sure, whatever. I'm literally concerned because there are policies of actual things that aren't being followed anymore. People aren't using maps anymore. Statutes. And then I go to court and I use a map, and then it looks like all my time was wasted. And so, that's just that's why I'm on the streets putting together paperwork. That's why we were at the library putting together paperwork. And so when a security guard makes me give up my ID again, and my ID has historically been used against me now, more and more, my social security number is frauded. I literally have been wrongfully accused, and now when I go to court, they say, he's been in court 16 times. Guess what? I have not been convicted 16 times. And so I'm very concerned when people run my names, and this guy, I would not have given him my name if I did not fully, completely think that he was a cop. I was very nervous. I thought he was going to arrest me, tackle me, whatever. That's why I stopped. I conceded to their authority, and I think that's really bad. Even if he doesn't think he's a cop, he made someone think he was, and made them give up their rights. And that's just awful. And so I don't care about money. I'm just trying to get people to start learning their policies and jobs. And so far, what you told me is very consistent, and that's the same thing as everyone else. Of like, you don't have to stop if they ask you to. But I was under the impression I did. And not just me. It was because I'm very meticulous with how I ask my questions. And he made me feel as though I was a cop.
Let me ask you what a reasonable person would do. Okay, let's say you're a reasonable person.
Okay, yeah, objectively reasonable person.
Let's just say that. Let's say you're on a university campus. Let's use that as an example.
Okay, yeah, I've been up on CSU before.
You come out of a facility, whether it's the sports center, the library, and you see 3 guys in uniforms who appear to be what to you?
If they're uniformed, it doesn't matter if they're cops or not.
Would you think, hey, it might be campus safety or campus security? Let's use your term, security guard.
If it's
or maybe locking doors at 2:00 in the morning.
Based upon us growing up in Fort Collins, CSU being sworn-in police officers, we actually thought that might have been potentially how everyone else works. And so when another security guard or campus official came around and said he was a cop, totally ratified it because we didn't know. We've never been to other situations, other jurisdictions like this. And so, I would assume that it's a cop. And then basically, if I don't stop, then I'm making him put his money where his mouth is.
Right. Can I give you another example?
Okay, sure.
Do you know where Metro State is? Auraria.
No, I don't.
Downtown. Okay.
Are you talking like
Metro
maybe
State
RTD
College.
stuff?
Yeah, it's Metro State College.
Oh, okay. I kind of. Metro State College. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. They have police powers.
Yes. Now, so they are
that's
sworn-in
what
officers.
What I'm trying to tell you is,
Aha.
I really, and I'll have to talk to my guys up here. I don't know what these restaurants. They probably are. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have. They're not sworn-in police officers, and they were very clear about that.
All right.
And so that's.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we have enough information for your complaint on the Denver police officers.
Oh my gosh! Anything else? I okay. So.
That's all, and it's going to be more like, and it's going to go out to their commander, and she'll look at it and she'll make a determination if the officers did anything wrong, and if she does, they didn't, then
okay.
that's the case.
Perfect.
All right.
Yes. Now
Will
here's.
that work for you?
Yes. Now here's the
All right.
actual really, really interesting thing here. So the position that we're in is that if you tell her that to go look at this case, and if she decides to close it,
No, they'll contact you. Did you give Sergeant Frazier a name and number where they can get a hold of you?
Yes.
Okay,
And
they'll
so-
contact you, and a sergeant will ask you what occurred, and you'll tell him, and then he'll look at it, and he might tell you the same thing I did and Sergeant Frazier did.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Except that if
Okay.
you guys tell me things without actually hearing the
But-
audio
but-
first,
but-
that's
but-
bad.
But I will expect he would know a little more since he works in that area.
Yeah, exactly.
As to how they work with the campus safety police.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
each
Yeah.
Campus.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that I don't know. So we'll do that for you.
Yep.
Will
Thank
that
you.
work?
Yes, and I have one more thing real quick. I'm in a very unusual position here since this audio hasn't been released yet. I'm trying to see if we
need that.
can.
Can you get that to us?
Okay, so while I would give it right away, I feel as though it would be worth it to go ask the security guards if they at least admitted and said they were cops ever. If they say, no, never, that's evidence that we need to get on tape to compare it to my clip. If I release my clip first, then,
See, we don't do that. Again, you've got me in a different place. I'm not investigating. I'm investigating what the police officer. What this guy told you or not doesn't really affect what I'm doing at all.
Yeah, exactly. I just
Okay,
need to go
whether
back
you
down the
see what I'm
chains.
saying?
Oh, yeah. No, believe me, I need to talk to an investigator.
You know what? If you want to, I don't even know who the guy is. You just say,
Exactly, neither do I.
His boss. You
Yeah.
haven't called Captain, I think his name's Ward. Captain Ward, who's
Yeah, no, I called the dean. I'm waiting for a call back from them.
it's not the dean.
Well, no. I called the dean. They told me that they would have security office give me a call. So I'm waiting to talk to
Do me a favor.
them.
Do me a favor. Look in your phone book. Campus Safety, Denver University. They have a phone number. They have a just like you're calling here. They probably even have a little internal affairs bureau, somebody to talk to. Okay, but if that's where you're heading with that, talk with them. That's your litigation's with them, not with.
Yeah. Well, it's I only went internal affairs because of the failure to report. I don't really care about them. I can work with the protection order. I'm just trying to get the original false imprisonment and original impersonation charge opened and at least looked at. And if anybody says they don't need to open it or they can close it without seeing my audio, that's frivolous, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, I guess I don't even know if I need your audio.
Yeah, you probably don't even need it, honestly.
Yeah, right.
It's irrelevant.
All right. We'll open it. Okay.
Yeah. But by the way, real quick, the audio, I captured the police officers talking after the whole security thing was over, and it still, I think, is very valuable in terms of how I attempted to report to her.
That is valuable. What did the Denver police officer say?
She literally told me that, we never got the definitions correct. That's why I started the conversation off with you the way I did. And so that's what I'm trying to.
Can I tell you something? If you start the way you do this definitions off with anybody, you're going to have a hard time.
Well, I only did it different with you. I was straightforward with her, and she defamed me.
Class 1 and Class 2, and you know what? Just tell what happened. Just tell your story. And
well, that's the thing.
At the end, and that'd be a lot easier than you trying to think, gotcha, you said this.
Not gotcha. It's that we're catching inconsistencies, and we're catching people flip-flop.
There's all kinds of inconsistencies
and logical fallacies. And so I just am trying to catch
on the situation and where you are.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I'm saying is, based on the situation and where I was and what I was doing, I feel as though I should not have been unlawfully seized with what I thought was a police officer, and otherwise thought I was required to give up my name for only reasonable suspicion, because it wasn't a charge. I wasn't trespassed or charged with anything like that, theft or anything like that. They just were acting like a cop, and they wanted to do a little investigation,
like a cop.
and they let go. And not just acting like a cop, they made us believe that they were a cop because they said the same things that cops do, like reasonable suspicion. I had a security guard tell me reasonable suspicion on top of saying officer, on top of saying cop, and so that's what made me believe it was a police officer, like CSUPD, like I was saying. So if we tried asking the right questions because we try and diffuse, and if he said no with that first question, if he was a cop, I would have just kept walking because I know my rights, and so I conceded to police authority, and I'm very concerned.
William, all right, we're having a good conversation here. See, because I got loud, one of my attorneys and showed me a website. And here it is. It's Campus Safety on DU. Campus Safety Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Campus Safety and Parking Enforcement Officers, hereafter referred to as DCS officers, have certain authority granted to them from the university. DCS officers may stop persons on campus to inquire as to the individual's identity, why they are on campus, and what location they have come from or are going, as outlined in the Honor Code, paragraph 11.
So can every single person be ID'd at a library that's just hanging out there if they want to go ahead and ask them?
See, and I'm going to give you the website so you can go look for yourself. You sound like a law, student type. And I'm just reading because they heard me talking to you because you're talking. And I'm reading a little further. So, by the Honor Code, are you a student at DU?
No, I wish. Or a life student.
You're a life student. Okay.
Student life.
All right, I got student life.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, okay, so to apples and apples.
So I'm reading it, and I'm gonna do you have access to a computer?
Oh yeah, I have a tablet with tons of evidence on it.
And the internet and stuff. Okay, so so you have your facts straight when you call them. Why they're on campus and the location they have. Okay, going out on the corporate. I must provide upon request to the university. If the individual contacted refuses to answer the officer's question.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay, wait. The officer may escort the person from the campus.
That's exactly what didn't happen.
Or otherwise treat the individual as a trespasser. That did happen.
Nope, no, they only treated me as a trespasser at the very end, and I didn't even ask for it. We tried to leave.
Wait. I'm going to let you read.
Okay, sorry.
Or wait. The officer escort the person up to camp, or otherwise treat the individual as a trespasser, suspicious person, or unwanted person, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
DCS officers' arrest powers are the same as those granted by citizens' arrest anytime someone is placed in handcuffs.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Wait. Anytime someone is placed in handcuffs by DCS officers, the Denver Police Department must be called. They were.
No, they weren't. That's the whole thing. They let me go without getting you in. They literally did the entire running of the entire ID and their own little reasonable suspicion investigation, and then they let me go, and then I called in the police.
You called the police, sir?
I called the police in.
Okay. DCS officers' arrest powers are the same granted citizen arrest, and any time it's placed in the handcuffs, DCS officers are authorized to complete the following searches. DCS officers are authorized to complete the following searches: search by consent, frisk and search, health, safety searches, inventory searches, administrative searches, and searches for exigent circumstances. Any search of residential rooms will be conducted with approval from the House of Residence. So here, you got a pen you can write with?
Actually, yeah, absolutely.
You have any? Actually, it's www.
Mm-hmm.
du.edu campus safety.
Okay, I was kind of surfing around there. I never had enough time.
Go look at it. And then when you go into it, go under policies. It says campus safety. It's on the University of Denver. All the stuff you want to find, you'll see. I'm looking them here. They look like police officers. They got Denver police officers in the car. They got Denver ambulance. They have powers, bro.
Now the powers. Just to clarify.
Look at the picture up there. There's a Denver police car. There's a campus safety police car. There's a Denver fire truck. There's a Denver health affairs. Go under policies and then read authority, and then go down to campus safety authority.
Okay, so I have one final question.
Let's get back. Sure.
Okay, to apples. A security guard that is at a King Soopers cannot ID anybody that's on their property willy-nilly. Correct?
They usually don't because they don't have as much training. And that's what I'm going to tell you.
But they don't. They're not. They don't.
Can I?
They don't have the right to detain you and run your name. They can only do this whole trespass thing.
And what I would tell you is they would never do that. You know why? Because have you ever seen a security guard at King Soopers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're there regularly.
Time out. They usually don't have any training. They're just people getting paid $8.95 an hour, and they're just there for an extra set of eyes.
But do they have the right to detain just to run names?
No, because they don't have. I don't think they have the qualifications to do it.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to report about DU.
Wait. Not the authority. Listen to what I said. They probably don't. The people they hire probably aren't educated. Probably it's a $10 an hour job. That's a security guard. Campus's safety is different. Look at the rules here.
No, but I'm saying for rules of detaining, only police officers can detain and require IDs and run warrants.
What does it just say? I just read it to you here.
Well, that's for already a level 3 probable cause trespassing order.
There you go with your levels again. DU has the authority granted to them. They may stop persons on campus to inquire the individual's identity. That's what they did to you.
No, that was a level 1. Okay, that was not a consensual. I'm allowed to walk off the property. They made me feel as though I could not walk off the property. I did not have. They made me feel like I had to identify myself.
Okay, pull up this website and take it up with them. Okay, that's where your problem. You're calling the wrong people. No,
like I said, I already caught them in a full-on false imprisonment from a full-on already ended scenario where they told me they were a cop. And then after the scenario is fully over and we get our IDs back, then we start drilling down more because of strange questions, and we find out that he's not a cop after it's already over, and that's when we try to call the police in, is because we're literally trying to actually
You're calling the Denver police, okay?
Yes, because it's a statutable offense now under Colorado Revised Statutes 188112 and 188303. 183303.
That is most definitely not.
183303, false imprisonment. 188112, impersonating police officer.
Those, again, they won't. If you pull this up, any reasonable person or any reasonable judge, look at the picture. That's not false imprisonment, okay?
I was detained, and I was told I was not able to go. Detain is detention. I was not free to leave. That is a false imprisonment.
Okay.
I was confined or detained against my will.
Okay, and what did I just read you?
I don't know, actually. What?
You didn't. Again, DU campus safety have certain authorities granted to them from the university.
Yeah, that's nothing special. That's literally like King Soopers granting authority to their security guards. That's nothing. That means nothing different than, I'm just comparing it to sworn police officers that have badges that can write statutable offenses. Campus officials cannot write statutable offenses, right?
Tell you what. All right, here's the deal. All right, I told you what I'm going to do. If you want to fight this battle with them, knock yourself out. You're not. I'm just being honest with you.
I'm not battling with them. I'm trying to battle with you guys. I'm trying to report a false imprisonment.
You're not battling with me because there's nothing I have on this. It doesn't involve a Denver police officer.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. This is just internal affairs. I know.
It doesn't involve a Denver police officer. So if your issue would be to contact campus safety, and they can explain it to you, and maybe you will listen to them.
Oh, no. I reported a crime to a police officer, and they failed to take my report, and they failed to take my evidence, and I called in, and I just talked to Frazier, and I had that same conversation with him, and now I'm having it with you, and you telling me you don't need my audio.
I'm telling you, I've opened that, okay?
Okay, just concerned, yeah.
So
Thank you.
Some more, all right?
Yeah, we can, I don't...
No, you can yell at me all day, but I'm about done because you interrupted my lunch.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Here's the deal. I will take that, and we will enter that complaint, and you will receive an update. Okay? As to what? The sergeant will look at it and talk to the officer who responded there. The officers will give statements as to what occurred on what they occurred, and then we'll look at it from that point as to see if the Denver police officers did anything wrong.
Yes, exactly. And comparing that to my audio, I think you guys will find a lot of things wrong. Exactly.
Okay. Well, if you can provide that, that'd be awesome.
I don't want to provide it until after their statements are collected.
That's on you. I mean, if you want to play the game, it's on you.
Yes, absolutely.
what I will tell you is we needed to do a complete and thorough investigation because once we're done with it, and you're not going to provide it after, because we're done as far as the Denver police officers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So you need to provide it. If you don't want to provide it, that's fine. We'll move forward without it.
Yeah, I don't want you guys to close it thinking that I'm not going to provide it. I just have a lot of decisions to make in the next couple of days.
Sergeant from District 3, which is that location, who will contact you, and you can explain this to him.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
But I tell you, if it goes like this, you're going to be.
Well, actually, I think. No.
I've been more than reasonable with you, but I don't know if you're really listening to me.
Oh, no, I can tell you, you have made more sense, and I've made more headway with you than I have with the last 50 cops in my life. So you're actually fantastic. This may seem like a bad conversation. No, this is really awesome, actually.
But I'm telling you where my powers are.
And
you're telling me about this stuff that.
Yeah. You're not DU. You're not. The false imprisonment chargers or anything like that. That's all with police. I was very concerned that I very much attempted to report just to have somebody else look at it, just a witness report. And she said there's nothing that you could attach it to. And then when I called Frazier, he did the same thing. And so I'm just trying to get my witness statement out there.
Who told you that?
Yeah. Sorry, what was it?
Who told you to patch it through? Is that somebody at DU or?
Patch. What through or no? I talked to Frazier, and he told me that there's nothing. He basically closed the investigation before seeing that audio too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually reporting him technically for failure to report on top of a failure to report, and that's why I'm so excited that you might go ahead and do something to at least have my statement in, because you're not going to fail to report.
Officers did. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah.
And it'll be not failure to report. It's basically responsibility to serve charge, and then we'll have their supervisor look at it to see if they did anything wrong.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, exactly. So far.
And maybe the supervisor thinks they should have taken a report. I'm just telling you, as a supervisor on the street, I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have taken the report. So.
Well, you didn't hear the audio yet. Now that's pretty bad. Audio.
Yeah, okay, I haven't. You're right. Unless there's a smoking gun, you're right.
And believe me,
right.
this is a smoking gun of an audio. It's.
All right. Well, make sure you give it to the sergeant who calls you. All right.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much for understanding.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.